All right, good morning, folks. We got Theo Johnson here this morning. As always, use the raise hand function and we'll get to your questions. We'll start off with Greg Pickle.
Theo, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Morning.
Theo, as you look at the film as Iowa week begins here, what have you noticed about their defense so far and what stands out about some of the things they've done so far this season?
I think the big thing with Iowa, and this is kind of a common theme throughout the years, they just have really good fundamentals, very sound in their scheme and what they do. Don't try and do a lot of flashy stuff, but they're really good at what they do. Don't necessarily try and hide things too much. So we have a great competitor coming in here this week and should be a good one.
Tyler Donahue.
Hey Theo, how you doing this morning?
Doing good. How you doing, Tyler?
I'm well, thank you. Last Saturday, offensively, I guess it was a little more challenging than what we saw from you in the first couple of games. What do you think coming out of that film room on Sunday were the most valuable takeaways for the offense overall coming out of Illinois?
Yeah, I think the big thing is and we're kind of saying this on the sideline, is we're just beating ourselves with, we had a lot of penalties that were ultimately stopping penalties and stuff that got us in third and long situations that really were just drive killers. So I think the big focus for us is just doing things that aren't gonna stop our drives and aren't gonna hurt ourselves, because if we can stay on pace, stay on track throughout the drives, then we can continue to be successful.
Rich Scarcella.
Hey, Theo, good morning, and thank you for doing this.
Morning.
Theo, when a defense is playing a 5-man, 6-man front, when they're crowding the box with as many as 8 or 9 players, what does an offense need to do?
I think that the big thing is you got to spread the field out and try and make them cover the pass, and then come back in and try and run the ball as well, and just kind of go back and forth with that. But I think it really just starts up front by imposing your will and letting them know you can crowd the box and do that all you want, but we can still run the ball at will.
Audrey Snyder.
Hey, Theo, thanks for doing this. At this point in the season, obviously we've seen you used in multiple ways over the years, but at this point, did you expect that you'd have more of a role in the passing game? And how do you kind of stay patient waiting for that part to kind of come?
Yeah, I think that, we take things week by week, and I try not to have a ton of huge expectations for when it comes to my involvement in the pass game. I just keep doing what I'm doing and win my man coverage and continue to just do my job and know that, those receptions are going to come, the stats are going to come because, if you turn on the tape, like I'm doing my job, I'm doing what I'm asked to do, and I'm doing it at a high level. So, just trusting the scheme, trusting that those receptions and those stats are going to keep coming, and just, trust the process. That's what I try and do every week.
Donnie Collins.
Hey, Theo, what do you guys do when penalties become an issue and you have some of those undisciplined penalties you were talking about earlier? What do you do to kind of eliminate them outside of being able to just practice not doing it?
Yeah, I think it's just a level of focus. And I think that, when that happens in a game, you have to just kind of take a second, trying to rein everybody back in, refocus, especially you have your defense making a ton of huge plays for you. A big message in the huddle at times when we're having a lot of penalties and stuff like that is, we got to help our defense. Our defense is doing a great job for us. We have to help them. So I think it's just a matter of refocusing so that those things don't continue to be an issue.
Daniel Gallen.
Good morning, Theo. Through 2 games with Drew as the starting, or 3 games with Drew as the starting quarterback, what's kind of your assessment of how he's fared, and how did you see him handle Saturday, where things didn't necessarily come as easy as they did the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, something I've seen with Drew, even like freshman year and throughout the off season, like the guy's got a lot of poise and never gets super high, super low, and does a really good job with that. I think that's probably something that he's beyond his years in that way, and even did a good job this weekend at keeping myself and some of the other offensive leaders that kind of got a little hot and cold, keeping everybody level-headed. And I think that that's a really, really powerful trait to have as a quarterback, to be able to keep a level head when things might not be going so great and when things are going really great. And I think that that was a big deal for us this week when things kind of weren't going our way, and being able to kind of stay at it and not getting too high or too low, I think is a big deal as a quarterback.
John Padishnock.
Theo, Tyler's touchdown on Saturday, that came at a pivotal time, and just being there on the field, it felt like it gave you guys some extra juice with Trey throwing the pass. How important was that play Saturday, and can a play like that carry over to the tight end room for maybe a week or two?
Yeah, I think that that's kind of what I alluded to a little earlier, like, just doing your job and when your number's called, executing at a high level. And I think that's what we did with that play. We practiced that play all week. We kind of knew that we're going to dial it up in a situation that we felt like we had it, and we executed it. And I think that it gave us momentum, and that's momentum that can carry on like more than just that one play. So I think that that's kind of what we do in the tight end room is just make the plays when they come to us and just be consistent.
Hannah Mears.
Theo, from a new starting quarterback to now facing an Iowa defense that's really only allowing 12 points per game this season, how comfortable is your offense together after those first 3 games and scoring 30 plus in each of them?
Yeah, I think that we feel really good about where we're at as an offense right now. I think that we're very confident in our entire offense as a whole, and I think that the reassuring thing for us is that we still have so many things that areas that we can improve on and really excel at, that we're doing pretty good, but we can be elite and great in. So I think it's really assuring for us that we've been doing so well so far, and that we have still so much more room to grow, and our ceiling's so high.
Seth Engel.
So Drew said post game that nothing is perfect. He repeated that a lot. What would like a perfect offense kind of look like for you guys when everything is kind of clicking on all cylinders?
I'm not sure what a perfect offense would look like. I kind of agree with Drew on that. I think that firing on all cylinders and being the best we can be is an offense that can run the ball at will and be able to pass the ball at will and stay on pace first and second downs, so that third downs we're not in third and long situations, and honestly not even getting to third downs. A really good offense is an offense that can get first downs on first and second down. So I'm not sure what our offense would look like if it was perfect, but I think that those are some of the things that would be traits of a really good offense.
Johnny McGonigal.
Yeah, Theo, you mentioned earlier trusting the process, staying patient in terms of your role within the offense, the receptions coming eventually. How crucial is Coach Howell in that, when he's talking to you and instilling that kind of mindset in you? How important is he to that process for you?
I think he's been very big in that role, and I think this is something over time. Just talking with him, just continue to do my job, and that's what I've been doing, and he just tells me, just keep doing what you're doing, keep chipping away at it, and those things will fall into place, and that's what I've tried to do whenever I have opportunities in practice to make plays, one-on-ones, competition drills. I try and do those things the best of my ability to continue not only to instill confidence within myself that I can do these things, but instill confidence in the coaches to be able to make those calls and pivotal moments in the game.
Mark Wogenrich.
Hey, Theo, I just wanted to go back to something you said earlier about Drew in the huddle, kind of taking the reins to rein everybody back in. How did he do that? What did he do in the huddle on Saturday that reined you guys back in?
I think, when there's plays where we're in third and long situations, or we had a couple instances where there's some guys getting penalties and stuff that just put us in some compromising situations. It was just a moment where it's like, guys, this is how we're gonna get done. I'm taking it up the center, like we're gonna punch it in right here, and kind of just really being assertive. And I think that's something that we're starting to see more and more with Drew. And I think it's obviously really good to see from a young guy that's still working to find his voice and to put himself out there more in a leadership role. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Drew continue to grow in that area.
Joe Smeltzer.
Hey, Theo, thanks for the time. So there's a lot of tight ends, obviously, on this team, both older, such as yourself and Tyler, and then there's a lot of younger guys too. Of all the younger guys, are there any that kind of remind you of yourself, whether it be as a player or personality-wise or anything like that?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I see bits and pieces of myself and a lot of the younger guys, and all of them, I can see some traits of myself, and I think that's part of the reason why we're all in the same room is when they're recruiting, they're looking for certain things, and you can see those certain things that they're looking for in a tight end here at Penn State, and that's why we all have a lot of similarities in that way. So I think that our staff has done a really great job of recruiting like-minded individuals as well as guys that have similar playing styles. So I can see similarities in my personality as well as in my game and a lot of those younger guys. And I think that's just a testament to how we've recruited the tight end position here.
Tyler Donahue.
Theo, I wanted to ask you about Kaden Saunders. Obviously, he's the primary punt returner, but he's taking advantage of some offensive opportunities at receiver. How is he a different player in his second college season than the freshman who you were on the field with last year?
Yeah, I think, it's been really great to see Kaden's growth throughout this offseason. He's a guy that works really hard, is constantly in the facility doing extra work, and just really pushing to have a bigger role. So it's been good to see that role increase. And obviously being a freshman, there's a lot of things that you're trying to figure out and a lot of learning that you're trying to do. So it's good to see that things are starting to fall into place. And honestly, I know we haven't seen the best of him yet. I think he's still got a lot more in the tank. And I think that's what's exciting about him is that he's a guy that's going to continue to improve and continue to get better.
Rich Scarcella.
Sorry, I think you're on mute.
I'm sorry, now I'm okay.
There we go.
How important are explosive plays to this offense? And is it difficult to remain patient when they're not coming?
Yeah, I mean, explosive plays are a huge part of not only this offense, but just success in winning football games. That's something that we go over every single week. It's a big part of our philosophy with offense is no turnovers and explosive plays. And every week, Coach Franklin says, we win this amount of games when we win the explosive play battle. We win this amount of games when we win the turnover battle, and then combine those two, we win this amount of games. I think it's 90-something% since 2004 or whatever it is he puts the team in. So he puts it up there every single week to express upon us how important those two statistics are. And I think that we've done a really good job of taking care of the football and not turning over football. And I think we can just be a little more consistent with making those explosive plays and being able to have an explosive offense.
Go to Donnie Collins for our last question today.
Theo, Coach Franklin talks a lot about preparing as if you're the starter, even when you're not the starter. And I'm wondering, when you were a younger player, how you think you did with that. And is that more of a mental challenge than a physical one for a kid who's started his whole life?
Yeah, I definitely think it's almost entirely mental because, people say that stuff all the time, prepare like you're the starter. And I think it can be one of those things that, goes in one ear and out the other. And you're like, yeah, like I'm fourth on a depth chart. I'm probably not going to play. So I think it's really a mental battle to kind of fight those urges to think that, you don't really have a shot or you're not going to play. But I think that especially a young guy coming in, it's a little bit of a challenge when you have older guys over you that have been in the program for a long time and you feel like you don't really have an opportunity. But you know, you never know when your opportunity is going to come. You know, my freshman year, I was in a situation where I was thinking, you know, I'm probably not going to play. And then, you know, Pat gets hurt, and then next thing you know, I have an opportunity. And because of my preparation and how I carry myself every week, I was able to step into that role and be able to take advantage of it. So I think that you know, it's definitely a challenge and a big mental one. But I think if you can fight through that mental aspect, then you know you'll be able to make it work.
Awesome. Thanks, Theo.
No problem.